So finally it's time for me to cover the Druid and Cataclysm, and today I will be covering these topics: talent trees for the different specializations, what glyphs I will be using, new spells and changes to the Druid, what stats I will prioritize at level 85, and of course also other important information. So first I will cover the Feral Druid, starting with cat form or well playing as DPS, and this is how my talent tree will look like. Here you can also see in which order I choose the talents, so as I'm leveling up. The reason why I choose Feral Swiftness in the beginning is because in Cataclysm you will now unlock your cat form at level 8, so spending the 2 first talent points into this allow you to also travel around even quicker. You could also level up as a Feral tank, so either by doing this in dungeons or simply in the open world. You should also remember that dual specialization only costs 10 gold in Cataclysm, so as you're leveling up you could do dungeons as Feral tank and then swap to Feral DPS when you're questing in the open world. At low level, prioritize getting Glyph of Maul, as this allows you to hit one additional target with your Maul, so even at low level you will be able to cleave as a tank. Your third option is to level as a balanced druid. At low level I feel like you're not leveling that quickly, mainly because you will be doing a lot of single target damage, but as you're getting to higher levels where you unlock more abilities, you can also start doing pretty decent cleave, so if you plan to do dungeons, this could definitely be a viable spec. Else, wait till around level 70 and then spec into Balanced Druid when you have to quest in the open world. By that point, you will definitely start to catch up. I'll show you some gameplay from all the different specializations later in the video. Your last option is to level as Restoration. For those of you that will mainly be questing in the open world, you should also avoid this specialization, as your killing speed will be damn awful. However, if you plan to mainly dungeon farm, then this is an amazing spec. But then again, remember we have dual specialization, so you could level up in dungeons as a Restoration Druid, and all the gear you get you can then use as a Balanced Druid when you have to quest in the open world. In a moment I'll show you all the specializations in action, the upcoming changes and many other things, but first I would also like to highlight this amazing leveling guide. It will work in the pre-patch and in Cataclysm. You'll get to level 85 super quickly, as it has been developed by the best speed levelers in World of Warcraft, and it's constantly being updated. You just follow the different steps, and there will even be text explaining what you will have to do. In the description there will be a link you can follow, and this will redirect you to the page where you can download the free version, but also purchase the full version that will work all the way up to max level. Alright, so onto the different specializations in action, starting with the Feral Cat DPS. At level 8 you will unlock this form, and by then you will slowly get more and more abilities that allow you to kill targets super quickly. You will have different kind of bleeds, single target abilities, and eventually also swipe, so you can cleave many targets at the same time. At the bottom of this talent tree you get yourself Berserker. This cooldown you can activate to reduce the energy cost of all your abilities by 50%. So here I usually pull 5 or maybe even more enemies, and then I use my swipe. This is insanely fast, but trust me, Feral tanks can also level up quite quickly. When you have Glyph of Maul, you can now hit 2 targets with your Maul, and then you just use your Mangle in between. But just wait until you activate your Berserker in bear form. Now your Mangle will hit additional enemies, so you will be able to start cleaving, you have a lot of armor, and you will be hitting as a truck. Balanced Druid is not really a specialization I like a lot, at least not at low level, but like I mentioned earlier, once you get to around level 70 or above, you'll start doing some pretty decent damage, and I feel like you also unlock more spells that makes the class a lot more fun to play, or sorry, the specialization. If I was going to level up a low level Balanced Druid myself, I would head into dungeons immediately and use my Hurricane and find a spell cleaving group. But look here, at higher level you'll start doing insane damage. We are talking about crits from anywhere between 8 and all the way up to 14k, and no, this druid doesn't have insane gear. What new spells and changes will happen to the druid no matter the specialization? At level 85 you unlock Wild Mushroom. Here you can spawn 3 mushrooms, and these you can also detonate to do AoE damage. Useful if there's for example a nearby stealther and you would like to bring this person out of stealth, or maybe even an NPC. I also use them if I have to kill lower level targets immediately or boost someone in a dungeon. Yeah, they do quite decent damage. Thorns are also being buffed. You're going to do a lot more damage, but as you can see it will now only last for 20 seconds with a 45 seconds cooldown. So when someone is about to nuke you, or if you pull many targets, you could also activate this, even on your tank, so it will have more threat. I'm also looking forward to the updated Tranquility. Instead of just healing 5 party or raid members, it will now also place a heal over time that will stack up to 3 times, making the healing a lot better, even if you're not playing a healer. Verifier is going to be updated. Verifier Feral will also do a lot more damage, and it can stack up to 3 times, reducing the armor by 4% all the way up to 12%, and it will last for 5 minutes. It also has a chance to crit, and the good thing is that when you're, for example, low on rage, you could use this as a filler simply to build up more threat. Another thing all druids will get is Stampeding Roar. There's going to be a version you can activate if you're in bear form, and one you can activate in cat form. Stampeding Roar will increase your movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds, and it will also affect all friendly players within 10 yards. I expect a lot of you to also be looking forward to the interruptibility Skull Bash. You can use this as cat and bear form as well, a 1 minute cooldown, but if you go into the feral tree, you can reduce the cooldown all the way down to 10 seconds. As a PvP player myself, this is one of the spells I'm probably the most excited about, especially when I have to fight casters or healers. The druid will also be so insane when fighting a target that can activate an enrage ability. This can be removed or well dispelled with Soothe. In the pre-patch, the new class and race combinations will be implemented into the game, allowing you to now also level up either a troll or Worgen. And these 2 new class combinations also comes with another appearance on your Moonkin form, cat form and bear form. Yeah, even your flying form as well. Next up is the different stats I prefer to get. As a feral druid, I mainly go for agility to increase the damage done by all my abilities and also my critical strike chance. Mastery will increase the damage done by your blades, and this is quite importantly. Next up is either gonna be crit or haste. It all depends if you would like to crit more or if you would like to have faster attack speed and also faster energy regen. But I will most likely not go for haste in phase 1, as I believe I won't be able to get enough of this for it to also have a huge impact on my DPS. So I will much rather like to go for agility, mastery and crit. Remember, your hit cap is also going to be 8%, and you will need 26 expertise to make sure they don't dodge or parry your attacks. As a feral tank, your main stat will also be agility. You should also go for dodge to increase your avoidance, mastery and crit for more threat. Haste is the worst stat, as it will only increase your attack speed. It won't have a huge impact like a feral DPS, where you will also increase your energy regen. Balanced druids will mainly need to focus on intellect, as it increases their spell damage done, but also crit. Hit and spirit is going to be another important stat, as you will need 17% hit, and as a balanced druid you have a talent where your spirit will also be converted into hit rating. Next up, go for haste or mastery. As resto druid, you will also need to prioritize getting intellect, but the next main stats is going to be haste and spirit. Spirit for better mana regening, but haste for faster heals and also faster heals over times. Mastery is better than crit, at least this is what I prefer, and of course this is my preference. There's also different consumables you should get. As a tank you can get Flask of Steel Skin to increase your stamina, and also this potion to increase your armor. It has a 1 minute cooldown and you can use it during a fight. As a DPS, but also as a tank to build up more threat and increase your avoidance, you could be using Flask of the Winds together with this potion that will increase your agility by 1200 for 25 seconds. As a balance and resto druid, use this flask to increase your intellect by 300 and this potion to increase the intellect by 1200 for 25 seconds. Of course, if you're low on mana as a healer, you could also be using a mana potion instead. If you haven't already seen my other class videos, then make sure to check those out. On my channel, you will also find a lot of other useful Cataclysm videos, for example gold making, preparation videos, tips and tricks, yeah, the list goes on and on. And soon I'll also publish a lot more videos, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to help me as a content creator so I can spend even more time on this passion.